Good afternoon, everyone. Just dropping my brother off at work. And I guess I'll talk about some more stuff. I want to talk about the Mr. Beast situation a little bit. I know this is coming to a huge surprise to a lot of people that Jimmy might not actually be all that good a person. I guess my question on that is, what made anybody think that this was anything other than that? Now, I did give Mr. Beast a pass on a lot of stuff, and I still give him the pass on a lot of stuff. Specifically because he does do good things with his money, right? He's helped people out. Even though it's poverty content, you know, exploiting poor people. That type of content has always existed. As long as he's transforming the lives of people, that's the only thing that matters. I always thought it would have been on child pornography. That's the thing I always thought that would have brought him down. When it comes to rich white people, that's usually their Achilles heel, is little boys, sometimes little girls. And I'm not saying that Jimmy is into that type of stuff, but it always struck me as weird that he came out of nowhere, right? We're doing all of these good things for people, and people are saying, it's like, you know, we demand that rich people use their money for good, and then when a rich person uses their money for good, we scrutinize them. And you should always scrutinize anything that anybody does, especially if it comes out of like a left field. Now, to my knowledge, Mr. Beast is not a conservative, so I'm going to give him a little more charity than I would give conservatives in this exact same role. For the things about him, you know, staging the content, because obviously it's staged. I mean, there's no way that a person like Mr. Beast is going to be able to put people in these types of challenges and not have it faked somewhere, right? The people who have done these videos with him are saying that he does fake things, but doesn't fake other things that should be fake, such as putting someone in solitary confinement for 30 days. If you're going to fake content, then obviously that's just one of the things that you fake, right? Maybe you have them in there for a day or two, and then you be like, yeah, you made 30 days, you know, here's the money. But that's the problem. It's the money. Saying you're going to give somebody 10 grand a day for up to 30 days, you know, $300,000. That's a transformative amount of money. I would do that because I'm in a situation where I need money. And if a person with resources is saying, hey, I need you to do this thing, then you probably do that thing because you want to be able to make it. Now, if I were to ever get in contact with Mr. Beast and he offered me a similar amount of money, I would do it, right? I understand as a poor person who has no resources, you have to do things you don't want to do in order to get resources. Now, most people do this every single day, right? We call it working a 9 to 5. Most people work jobs they don't want to work, but they work these jobs because they got bills to pay, they want to be able to eat, they want shelter, they got a family to provide for, so they do these types of I don't really know the word I'm looking for right now because I'm kind of tired, but people who do these types of jobs because they have to, not because they want to. So a poor person is always going to do the thing that the person with resources says to do, which is, hey, I need you to be in solitary confinement for 30 days. You got to remember, Jimmy, he has everything he needs. He doesn't have to lower his standard of life or do things that he would otherwise not want to do because he has the resources available to him. Now, this also means that because it's such a large amount of money, that they're not going to just give this type of money away, right? Mr. Beast probably started good, right? You know, I saw the video of him giving the homeless guy $10,000, right? That's a good thing to do. Do that. But I don't want you to record doing it. That's the issue that I have with it, is that he records himself being a good person. Everybody says if you look at somebody on a, what kind of type of scale that they did, they compared him to like Jesus Christ or anything like that. But I would have to always remind people that not even Jesus Christ did what he did because he was looking for accolades, right? And I'm an atheist, right? I don't believe Jesus exists, but I do believe in the idea of a Jesus-like character, a person that can place others above their own immediate need. Now, obviously, do that within reason, but people compare him to Jesus Christ, which is not a person I would compare him to. I compare him to a typical venture capitalist, right? He wants to be the best YouTuber. That's his goal, and he will do anything he needs to do that. Now, I don't care how he does that. If at the end of the day he is transforming the lives of people, and that's the only thing I care about. You gotta remember, we live under capitalism. People like mindless content. Mr. Beast provides mindless content. But the thing that, don't do it. All right, well, red car just pulled out in front of me and I was at speed. But if people are gonna work with Mr. Beast, because I forgot what my train of thought was on that. But if people are going to work for Mr. Beast, you have to understand how people like him are going to act. The money is secondary to the content, right? Mr. Beast is going to always get money, right? He has even a deal with, I believe, Amazon, and they're doing his Beast Games thing, right? Completely misunderstanding the point of like Squid Game, but this is what he wants to do because this is how he's going to make money. You have to understand, when it comes to working with rich white people, nothing is safe, nothing is sacred. If he believes he can do Squid Games better, he's going to do Squid Games better, and he's going to do Squid Games better. Now, that comes at a risk for everything else. Like recently, I just learned that Warner Brothers, right, got registered trademark Big Chungus, you know, a meme on the internet. And it's not because they own the rights to Bugs Bunny, right? Or even the meme, right? They originally drew the character. But the meme, Big Chungus, the thing that the internet calls it, was taken away from them because venture capitalism. This is a popular thing, and maybe put it in our thing and have it trademarked, then we can get those type of people to do our thing. But that misses the point of what internet culture is supposed to be. And Mr. Beast understands this. He knows if he can take a popular property that is well loved everywhere and keep it as clickbaity as possible, because that's just how he does this type of content, then that makes him money. And with that money, he gives it to desperate poor people. The issue with this is that it's a vicious feedback loop. The challenges are going to get bigger, and the challenges are going to get more dangerous. When it comes to shows like Fear Factor, what's the other one, Wipeout, you know, these types of live reality shows, they have a lot of rules that they have to follow. Because if you mismanage anything, people can get hurt or worse. And as been coming out, people have been left in just insane living conditions, right? There's been no AC, no access to, I guess, nutritious food. You know, people are tired, beaten down. And the first day, it's like, yeah, it's cool. You know, I'm in a Mr. Beast video, right? This is going to be super good for me. But when you start doing this challenge and you realize, it's like, man, I got to stay up for 72 hours. I've got to, whatever the challenge is, right? I had to do it for not even a lot of money. But that's not even the worst thing. The worst thing is that a lot of people don't even get their prizes, apparently. Like, I'm not talking about the fake signatures, because obviously fake signatures are fake, right? There are a lot of people that will just buy product or an item that a person has with a signature on it, specifically because it's their signature, but it was like printed. You know, like the trading cards, get a signed copy of this card, right? Digital. So it's not like we had a problem with that. I think people are just looking for things to criticize Mr. Beast on. Now, it's always a shitty thing to do. You never say you're doing something that is real and then people sign it, right? One of the people that was signing shirts on his live stream accidentally signed his signature. It's not his signature as signed by him, but I mean, it's still his signature. I would still accept it as anything else. I guess it's just scummy. Like, I really want to like Mr. Beast. I really do. I believe he can do a lot of good for people. He's done things that nobody else has done. And I would rather see rich people spending their money like this. But you don't become a billionaire if you're not doing illegal things, you know? And this is the thing that people don't seem to understand. I was always cautious of the guy. But I always gave him my blessings. And by blessings, I meant like, I never really scrutinized him like I would scrutinize other people, because he was at least helping others. But where we're at now, especially with the culture that we got, you know, we got a lot of political violence, people making people find a side. You have to pick a side nowadays. And Mr. Beast has kind of got grouped into all of this because people are saying, it's like, yeah, his content does really seem like it exploits poor people. And it's not that hard to get poor people to do anything. It feels like trapping an animal. And if you're going to trap an animal, you do it with things like food. Because it's easier to convince a wild animal that you are not a threat to it than to give it food, because that tricks them. That's what this poverty type of content feels like. It feels like they're essentially giving food to homeless people because the homeless person has to be grateful for it. Right? Telling people to say things like, I want, like, a thank you because it's going to let me pay off my student loans or anything like that. Like, he fishes for that sympathy, which works, right? We are empathetic creatures. We are a social species. We evolve to care about one another. So when we hear a story of a rich person helping a poor person, a person in need, come through their struggles, I got a call. I got to take that call. Well, actually, I think I just missed that call. I'm expecting a call from an auto auction. They kind of stole a bunch of property from me, and they're doing everything they can to beat around the bush. So I don't know if that's what that call was, but you know, when you're always on someone else's time, you kind of miss out on stuff. But going back to the Mr. Beast thing, I know he's good for people. I want him to get back to his roots. He has to get over being the biggest YouTuber. Because being the biggest YouTuber, the best YouTuber, that's going to cause him nothing but problems. And as laws start to catch up with him, and they will, he's going to feel like the world betrayed him. Because you got to remember, he's young. He lucked into this, I guess. I don't know what the situation was. But he got very lucky and managed to hit the algorithm in a way that liked. And he's doing better than ever now. And that's going to always push him to do more and more and more. And it's going to get to the point where it's not going to be sustainable. Eventually, Beast Enterprises, whatever he wants to call it, and I'm just saying Beast Enterprises because there's a chance that it does become that, if he does become like a giant and like doesn't need YouTube anymore, that not even the law is going to be able to do things for him. I imagine the team of lawyers he has now are great, but imagine the team of lawyers he'll have if he becomes a corporation. Right? He becomes publicly traded. People think it's bad now. They ain't got shit on what's going to happen. And YouTube is going to let him do it because YouTube makes a lot of money off his content. Any platform he works with, Instagram, TikTok, any of these platforms that have young people on, because he caters exclusively to young people, they're not going to do anything about it because he brings them viewers, ad revenue. The issue is that we don't control advertisers. That's the issue. A person like Mr. Beast, he's doing exactly what capitalism wants. I'm not mad at him. He didn't do anything wrong. He is doing exactly what he's supposed to in a hyper-consumeristic society, right? Many of you out there watching this video, if you watch this video and watch his content, you are more likely to buy the cheap product made by child labor overseas than the product bought by a union-backed corporation for like $80. you'll say that's too expensive. And I agree, $80 for a thing is incredibly expensive. But then you complain about the fact that they use child labor, but you buy the products that they use for child labor, right? I hate how Mr. Beast is exploiting people as I record my video on my phone made by exploited workers in China, right? Or miners in Africa, or wherever they get these precious metals from, right? It's all just a pointless virtue signal. And this is the reason why I don't like virtue signaling, because it essentially thinks or tricks people into believing that their shit is a lot cleaner than somebody else's shit. And in my experience, I've never smelled any shit that smelled good, right? But that's all it is. Everybody has to have a culture war, and Mr. Beast is just in the center of it. Is Mr. Beast doing awful things? Absolutely. Right? He is clearly exploiting people. But that's how you make money under capitalism. Capitalism requires winners, which Mr. Beast is, and losers, which the people that capitalists exploit. This is just how the system is. And if you want to change the system, you got to stop engaging with it. You can choose to not watch Mr. Beast videos. You can choose to not buy any products that Mr. Beast sells. You can choose to not engage with that motherfucker, right? You can choose to not engage with anything. But I imagine you're not going to. You'll just virtue signal because it'll get you internet points, and then you're going to keep doing the thing that other people do. Like I said, I always thought it would have been child pornography that he would have gotten caught up with. And while there are allegations against him for it, that's all they are, just allegations, right? Apparently a person he was working with is a registered sex offender, and he didn't care to do anything about that. That's his failing. I can't tell a person how to run his business. But even sex offenders need to live. They still need to eat, and they still need shelter. So what do we do about this? Well, get in contact with your congressmen, people, I guess. You gotta let them know, hey, we're not doing this. Boycott platforms, right? You don't want to engage with the content? You want to knock a person down a peg, or even a platform? Don't use it. Use other platforms, right? I've always told people this. If you don't like Walmart, don't shop at Walmart. Shop at mom and pops. But then they complain about the mom and pops. Oh, their bread is too expensive. Their meat is too expensive. It's like, I want to support local shops, but I just can't afford to shop there. It's like, yeah, imagine it from their perspective. They can't even afford to keep the business open, right? Because they know you're going to take your virtue signaling ass to Walmart and buy there and take away their business. They would love to lower their prices, but they can't because Walmart is right next door. And, well, they still have a tax ID. What we need is just one big nationwide strike across all sectors. But good luck getting people together to do something like that. Like China, they got it right. They've got their movement right now, the Let It Rot movement. They're over it. I gotta work 6 days a week, raise a family, and buy my apartment. Notice I didn't say rent, buy, right? An apartment right out of school. Their housing market is even more upside down than ours, right? You look at what's happening in Europe and other white nations. The same thing that's happening here in America. But they blame the immigrants. They blame brown people. They blame the work ethic. They blame culture. A paradigm shift is coming. You got to figure out which side you want to be on. I know I said don't pick sides, but this is the one time where it's applicable. You are young. You are going to live in this world for the next 30, 40, 50, 60 years. The people that are controlling this country, these old people, people like Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, These people, they're not going to live in the world in the next 30, 40, 50, 60 years. But you are. They don't care what state the world is in. The world is in the state that it's in right now because of these people. So all that they're trying to do is poison the minds of young people so they can keep whatever this is going. I tell people what to do, but even I still get up and go to work every morning because I have obligations. But if I didn't have these obligations, I wouldn't be doing this. And the thing that sucks is I can't even imagine the reality of this world where things could be better. I mean, things are good, right? Like I'm pulling in and I see fresh cut green grass, large homes, beautifully cut trees. I'm seeing people like that's an old school OBS right there, looking clean as fuck. Right? Nothing looks like it's bad. Right? We don't have bombs constantly dropping on us like there are in other places in the world. Like look at what's going on with Palestine right now. Right? Israel has completely lost their mind. But when you compare these people to Hitler, they get mad. Right? I see another Hitler in a long line of Hitlers. Right? This is just what white people do. And you have to understand that. This is just what white people do. They take advantage of people. They pillage. They plunder. They rape. They've been doing this for over 2,000 years. And we're surprised when we look at people like Mr. Beast, who is just doing the exact same thing. Now, Mr. Beast is not Hitler. But business in America is cutthroat. If you're not acting like a Hitler to maintain a business, and we see how savage competition is, then you're not doing it right. It's the reason why I want to drop out of this system. I can't make money at the expense of other people. I just can't do it. But that's probably the reason why I stay getting taken advantage of. I'm just too nice. But I'm where I need to be at. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I believe today is Tuesday. Don't work too hard because your job's not going to work hard for you. And as always, see you in the next video. Maybe, maybe not. Take care.